first start, he was calm. He was pretty composed. He settled into the game.
At the 10, the 5, touchdown, Taysom Hill!
He got to win, obviously, so that's not too bad. Overall, he played clean.
I thought he played well. Look, it was a good team win.
You get down in the red zone, and boy, he is a weapon.
You get to this level, and you have to have tunnel vision and do your thing.
All of those comments courtesy of WWL in New Orleans. The Taysom Hill era, however long it lasts under center, is off to a good start. 18 for 23, 233. Nepotism in full effect. Key's nephew, Michael Thomas, back. 9 catches, 104 yards. Key said he would go over the century mark. Sean Payton took a lot of grief for starting Taysom Hill over Jameis Winston. Many thought Winston might start, especially after he came in relief of Drew Brees just about 8 days ago, played that second half. He pulls the trigger instead on Taysom Hill and said, look, we're not expecting perfection out of the gate, okay?
Listen, your first start ever in the NFL, I think he called one formation, flipped around the wrong way. There was one motion, and then, all of that kind of calmed down, and he got very comfortable with the flow of the game and did a good job. We did a good job up front, I thought, blocking him.
Key, you said, and you're laughing, this ain't about Jameis, this ain't about Taysom Hill. That's about the dude we just heard from, Sean Payton.
No, it really is about Sean. I'm laughing because Sean said that he called the formation the wrong way. I can only imagine, when he looked at his wristband or however he's getting the plays in his helmet, and when he called it, the players was probably like, no, I don't think we have that play in the playbook. Because sometimes you hear things, they all run together, but he played great, right? I know that Sean took a little bit of heat. I was shocked that Taysom Hill started. I was one of those guys, not necessarily from a heat standpoint, but was shocked that Jameis didn't get the nod, Jay. I just felt like, oh, okay, Jameis is going to be the guy who's starting because they brought him in to be the guy in place of Brees, especially when Brees got hurt. They put him in. They didn't go to Taysom Hill. A year ago, Brees gets hurt. They go to Teddy Bridgewater. So I didn't really know the confident level that Sean would have with Taysom Hill being the starting quarterback. But look, Sean put a game plan together that allowed him to be efficient. He had 0 touchdowns in the air. Guess what else he had? 0 turnovers. Mm-hmm. So that is key. If you could get that out your quarterback, you're going to win a lot of games.
Short passes. He punches the ball in the end zone. Serviceable Key. It's interesting. 2 different narratives here going different directions, right? Saints win yesterday. You're starting to look at how many games will Drew Brees miss, maybe another 2, 3. Can Taysom Hill?
No, every day he gets more ribs. Something wrong with his ribs. So,
yeah. But it feels like if Taysom Hill can carry that load, help them, right? And then the Jameis Winston part. I mean, a guy that's only thrown 20 passes gets a start over you. Hey, then wins. What's the narrative become about Jameis Winston moving forward, right? I mean, that's what Sean Payton is. And I know we hate to do this, but Sean Payton is an offensive guru, right? That's what he's supposed to do, make quarterbacks great. But now Jameis Winston is on the sideline watching this team win games with a guy that's only thrown 20 career passes.
With Sean, I think it's more about
fit and understanding, like he's been around the team a longer
No,
time?
I think it's more about, at this time, the opponent, too. Like, what he wanted to do from an offensive standpoint probably fit better with Taysom Hill against Atlanta than if he had Jameis. Taysom Hill ran the ball. He did Taysom Hill type things that they took advantage of with Atlanta's defense. Could he do the same things with Jameis? So when he's game planning and he's sitting in the room with the coaches and they're coming up with the game plan, they're saying, this is what works against Atlanta. Who's best to do this? Taysom Hill's best to do it. Okay, so let's allow him to do this because he can.
If that was the case, though, wouldn't they use a mixed up combination of both? Like he just went solely with Taysom Hill.
Because Taysom Hill was cooking, though. I mean, he was doing everything right. So it was really no reason to mix it up. If they go with that game plan like they do with Drew Brees, where Brees is a starting quarterback, then all of a sudden Taysom Hill comes in, Drew Brees goes out of the game or lines up at the receiver position. That's more of trick football opposed to here's our game plan. We gonna keep them, unbalanced to a degree and not exactly tell them what we're doing. Because if we bring Jameis in and out, they'll know. If we leave Taysom in, they won't know exactly what it is that we're trying to do.
I hear you on explaining the nuances and the intricacies of it, and I appreciate that. I hate that for Jameis Winston at the end of the day because
I think
the conversation.
fine.
I know, but I think the conversation turns into is this an indictment on Jameis Winston?
No, it's not. And the reason it's not is because you have the head coach there vouching for him. The head coach, I think a lot of people are looking at this as a one-stop year for Jameis, and it's not. Jameis is going to be in New Orleans for a couple more years before he moves on to another team because his body of work is in Tampa Bay, not at a new team in New Orleans. So the last thing you saw of him as a starting quarterback was in Tampa. He's got to do with Teddy was there for 2 years.
Yeah.
Teddy wasn't there. Everybody thinks Teddy was there for 5 games. Teddy was there for 2 years. Then with those 5 games, they got to see what he was under Sean, and then they made a decision based on him those 5 games. Plus, Joe Brady was a coach with Sean Payton before he was at LSU as the offensive coordinator. So everything kind of fit to a degree to make them want to get Teddy to go to Carolina. Jameis will be fine. I'm not worried about Jameis right now.
Couple things to add. This is really unusual because this is Taysom Hill. There wasn't one designed run call in the first half. He essentially said, if you're going to be my quarterback, you better step out and be my quarterback. You could also tell, Key, you're the expert, but even my eyes can say he does not throw a great deep ball. He underthrew a couple of passes big time. I want to just quickly mention
It looked like college football to me.
He's only thrown 20 passes.
It looked like looked like college football. When I'm watching it, I'm like, I'm happy that they got the win, but I knew that my nephew was going to go over 100 yards. I just knew. I knew that they were going to force him the ball because Sean is saying, whatever you do, throw the ball to 13. Even if it's short stuff, I want 13 to get the football.
One more number. You said 13 in our final minute here. Real quick. Is there any other player in the NFL that is 30 years old and you have no idea who he is? Taysom Hill is 30 years old. Do you have
is there
idea?
any other player that
at the age of 30, don't you think you kind of know who you are at that point? We have no idea, to Jay's point. He's thrown so few passes. He's 30. We have no idea who he is.
But I knew him at BYU. But it's a different...
I didn't. So tell me, who was he at BYU?
Same thing that you see now. That's what he was doing.
Same exact